Hello, chemistry class. We're going to cover conversion between different measurements of temperature. So I wanted to run through a couple of example problems with you all. If you'll remember, there are three different ways that we are going to measure temperature, three different units that we're going to work with. We're going to work with Kelvin, we're going to work with degrees in Celsius, and we're also going to work with degrees in Fahrenheit. So when we are working with these three different measurements of temperature, there are two different equations that we were given that should cover any conversion between these units. The first equation that we're given is our degrees in Celsius is going to be equal to 5/9 times the quantity, our degrees in Fahrenheit, minus 32. The second equation that we were given is that the measurement in Kelvin is going to be equivalent to the degrees in Celsius plus 273.15. And using those two equations, we should be able to convert easily between whatever measurements we have been given. So those are our basic equations that we're going to work with. We're going to go over two conversions. The first conversion that we're going to look for, or we're going to look at, is what if you were asked to convert the measurement 351 Kelvin, what if you were asked to convert that to degrees in Celsius? Well, again, we're going to start with the conversion equation that we've been given. So we know our measurement in Kelvin is equal to degrees in Celsius plus 273.15. So we're going to plug our known into the equation that we've been given. So we have 351 is equal to degrees in Celsius plus 273.15, and we will solve for the degrees in Celsius. So to do that, we're going to subtract 273.15 from each side of the equation. And when we do that, we are going to plug that into our calculators or do that in our heads, and we're going to come up with a measurement of 77.85 is equivalent to our measurement in degrees Celsius. Now, of course, anytime we do one of these problems, we have to look back at our given, and we have to look at the number of significant figures that are in that so that we know how many significant figures we can have in our final answer. So there are 3 significant figures in this initial measurement that we're given in Kelvin. So we're only going to have 3 in our final answer. So we're going to have to do some rounding. So when we do our rounding, we're going to come up with 77.9 degrees Celsius as our final answer. All right, so that's conversion from Kelvin to degrees in Celsius. Now let's talk about a conversion from degrees Fahrenheit to degrees Celsius. So let's say you were given the quantity -12 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want to know how that compares to its corresponding measurement in degrees Celsius. Well, of course, again, we're given our equation that we're working with. We have degrees Celsius is equal to 5/9 times quantity degrees Fahrenheit minus 32. So we're going to need to remember our order of operations when we're working with an equation like this. So we're just going to plug this in. So we have degrees in Celsius is equal to 5/9 times -12 minus 32. Okay. You should remember from working with adding and subtracting negative numbers that one of the ways that you can kind of think about this section of the problem right here, this -12 minus 32, you can actually separate that out and think of it as -12 plus -32. Sometimes that's a little bit easier to visualize, and of course that you end up with -44. So that's what we're going to come up with over here. So we have degrees Celsius is equal to 5/9 times -44. And we're going to plug that into our calculator, and we are going to come up with the measurement in degrees Celsius is equal to 24.444, and so on. If you remember your notation, you can indicate a repeating decimal by a line over the digits that repeat, digit or digits. And so this is 24.4 repeating. Now, of course, again, we're going to need to look back at the initial measurement and ask ourselves how many significant figures do we have. So our initial measurement has 2 significant figures, so our final measurement can only have 2 significant figures. And so we see that our measurement in degrees Celsius is 24 degrees Celsius after we round. So that is our final answer. So I hope that helps you out when you are doing your conversions from Kelvin to Celsius or Fahrenheit to Celsius. Celsius to Fahrenheit is going to be the same basic process. You're just going to plug in on the other side of the equation, and you're still just going to use your algebra skills to solve for the unknown. Again, if you have any questions, feel free, send me an email, and hope that helps you guys out.